I love children.
What would you do if life broke you again and again and again? If every job failed, every business collapsed, and every dream shattered before your eyes, would you keep fighting? Or would you finally give up? What if I told you the man who created KFC didn't taste success until he was 65 years old? And before that, he experienced more pain, failures, and humiliation than most people face in a lifetime. This is not just the story of fried chicken. This is the story of a man who refused to die a failure. Harland David Sanders was born not with privilege, not with wealth, not with comfort, but with hardship pressed into his life from the moment he opened his eyes. Born in a small farmhouse in Henryville, Indiana, life didn't give him a childhood. It gave him tests. When little Harland was only 6 years old, his father died unexpectedly. Just like that, the world turned cold. His mother had no choice but to leave home and work long hours just to keep the family alive. So, the responsibility of caring for his younger siblings fell on Harland. Imagine this. A 6-year-old boy standing on a wooden stool, stirring gravy in a heavy iron pan, just so his brother and sister wouldn't go hungry. While other children played outside, Harland learned to cook, clean, survive, and grow up too fast. His first lessons in life were simple but brutal. No one is coming to save you. You must become useful early. Life doesn't care how old you are when it hurts you. By the time he was a teenager, Harland had already tasted more struggle than most adults. He fought with his stepfather, dropped out of school in 6th grade, and ran away from home at 12. The world did not welcome him. But Harland didn't wait for opportunity, he hunted for it. Over the next few decades, he worked more than a dozen jobs, each one ending in disaster. Farmhand. He was too small and too weak. Fired. Streetcar conductor. He struggled with the routes. Fired. Railroad fireman. He lost his job after a fight with a colleague. Fired. Insurance salesman. His honesty cost him sales. Fired. Lawyer. He got into a courtroom fight with his own client. Career destroyed. Ferry boat owner. The company collapsed. Lamp manufacturer. Failed again. Tire salesman fired once more. Everywhere he went, failure seemed to follow him like a shadow. Every business he touched fell apart. Every time he tried to rebuild his life, something knocked him back down. Most people would call it bad luck. Harland called it training. A line he once said captures the soul of his journey. I've only had 2 problems in life, myself and the whole world. But somehow, he kept going. At age 40, an age when most people hope for stability, Harland was still searching for purpose. He accepted a job running a small Shell gas station in Corbin, Kentucky. This was the turning point. The gas station wasn't special. It wasn't big. It wasn't glamorous. But Harland had something others didn't. A lifetime of cooking experience, and a recipe he had perfected since he was a boy. One evening, a traveler stopped for gas and complained he hadn't eaten. So Harland offered to cook something for him in the tiny station kitchen. He fried chicken using his secret blend of herbs and spices, the same delicate balance he'd developed through trial, error, and intuition. That traveler returned the next day with friends, and the day after that, more people came. Because word was spreading. The aroma, the flavor, the tenderness, the consistency. People didn't just come for gas anymore. They came for Harland's chicken. Soon, he expanded into a full restaurant across the street. And for the first time in his life, he tasted real success. The man who failed at everything finally found the one thing he was born to do. But life wasn't done testing him. Just when his restaurant started thriving, a tragic fire burned it to the ground. Everything he had built, gone. Again. But Harland didn't surrender to fate. He rebuilt the restaurant brick by brick. He worked longer hours. He sharpened his recipe. He expanded the dining room from 40 seats to 140. And then, recognition began to pour in. He wrote recipes for magazines. He cooked for governors. He became one of the most respected chefs in the state. The governor of Kentucky even awarded him the title that would stay with him forever. Kentucky Colonel. For the first time, Harland Sanders wasn't just a man. He was a brand. But success, for him, always came with a cost. In the 1,950 seconds, a new interstate highway was planned, one that bypassed Corbin, Kentucky. And overnight, customers stopped coming. Traffic disappeared. The restaurant that had become his life's pride was dying. Colonel Sanders, now in his 60 seconds, watched helplessly as business fell apart again. Within months, he was forced to sell everything. After decades of struggle, after years of building his dream, he was back to zero. At age 65, he had no restaurant, no income, no savings, a tiny monthly Social Security check of $105. Most people would have surrendered. Most people do surrender long before this point. But Sanders wasn't built like most people. With nothing left to lose, Sanders decided to do something radical. He took his pressure cooker, packed his spices, and drove around the country, pitching his chicken recipe to restaurant owners. Not selling chicken, not selling a product. He was selling himself, his expertise, his vision, his uncompromising standard. He offered restaurants a deal. You cook the chicken using my recipe and method. You pay me 5 cents for every piece sold. Simple, fair, brilliant, but there was one problem. Nobody believed in him. He was rejected. Again, and again, and again. Some owners laughed at him. Some insulted him. Some told him he was too old. Some mocked his suit. Some said fried chicken would never be big. He slept in his car. He bathed in gas station bathrooms. He refused to return home empty-handed. And the number of rejections kept rising. 20 rejections, 200 rejections, 500 rejections. Most people would quit at 10, some at 50, almost all at 100. But Colonel Sanders kept going until the number reached 1,009 rejections. Then one day, a small, humble restaurant owner said, yes. And that single yes changed the world. That one, yes, became 2. 2 became 10. 10 became 100. By the early 1,960 seconds, the Colonel's fried chicken was sweeping across America. The pressure cooker made the chicken fast. The secret blend made it irresistible. KFC wasn't just food. It was an experience, a ritual, a celebration. Families gathered around buckets. Children licked their fingers. People felt joy, all because a 65-year-old man refused to accept failure. By age 73, Sanders became a multi-millionaire. His face became a global symbol. His legacy spread to more than 150 countries. Millions of people today eat from the recipe of a man who spent most of his life failing. Before his death in 1980, Colonel Sanders was often asked, "What kept you going? Why didn't you give up?" He answered, "One day, I realized the only person who could stop me was me." His story is proof of something powerful. Success does not care about your age. Success does not care about your mistakes. Success does not care how long you've struggled. But success demands one thing: relentless persistence. So, if you're struggling, if you're broke, if you've failed more times than you can count, if life feels unfair, if you feel late, remember this. A man who failed for 60 years built a global empire after 65. Your story isn't over. Your breakthrough hasn't happened yet. Your yes is coming. And when it arrives, your entire life will change. If Colonel Sanders' story inspired you today, don't let the motivation die here. Hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who's ready to fight again. Remember, it's never too late to become who you were meant to be.